Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to our live stream here. It's supposed to rain for like the next 48 hours. So I'm going to open the window and pray. It's unbelievable. Fresh air is good for an ill persona. Yeah, I'm under the weather. I've got some kind of cold. Probably the COVID. Do we have Arsenal bait? Let me check. When did you submit it? Arsenal bait. Fan. Arsenal fan Dicky. How many Arsenal fans are there? It's unbelievable. Earlier. Thank you for that. You were the first? So you say every week. Today. If you get a chance, this is from today. He was the first, but it's from today. Alright, if you say so. I believe you. What's up, guys? Oh, the game. No, not the game. Another game. What's up, everybody? I'm just feeling like general shit. But I'm not, out of commission as far as I can talk. Just feeling under the weather, a little bit fatigued, and my sinuses hurt. Congratulations to the Frankie for coming back. Alright, Sladgie analysis stream. That's where we're going to put it. Arsenal's last. Pissed me off that some of those accounts are banned. Making your username look bad. I've got Shocky, ABC, FIGM, Chapter 3. I'm not sure who that is. We'll figure it out when we get there. Asterbate, Jim, Move 11, and Arsenal. And I probably forgot Blobix, but Blobix is Chapter 3, I guess. Blobix is the mysterious Chapter 3. I'm gonna start coughing, probably. I've been sick since Monday. It's getting different. It's been mutating. Sorry for the late start. I just felt like crap. It's hard to get in gear when you feel like crap. General crap. What's up, everybody? We're sacrificing viewers live on stream. We're not really sacrificing viewers. We're just like sacrificing their souls and banning them to hell. So don't worry. There won't be any blood and guts. And I start getting dementia. My dementia gets worse when I'm sick. Glub and butts. What dignity. Congratulations to Ding for winning. But I'm not here to be another, like 10 million people have analyzed the World Championship game. I don't think we need to see that. You sold your soul a long time ago. What did you get? What did I get? I forget. I sold my soul. I think I got dementia. But I'm not sure. I don't remember. I ate an apple for dinner. It's really delicious. Alright, so our first game, we'll just start. First game. Oh no. No submitting games against me. That's the first rule of analysis stream, is no submitting games that were played against the host who has dementia. I have COVID and dementia now. Oh, I get to see how I lost from the white side. Anyway, I'm playing black in this game against Sladgie. Funny, I never play this move order very much. D6, I decided to throw it out there. Sometimes I'll play it, but I play like knight c6 and g6 more frequently. d6, bishop c4, and actually bishop c4, as stupid as the boldler attack is, I mean, I think bishop c4 is respectable. Create an account or log in to use Twitch chat. Screw you. You won't even let me see the Twitch chat now on Streamlabs? Are you freaking kidding me? It used to let me see the stream. Why am I not logged in? I don't understand. How am I not logged in, dude, if I'm like streaming? Bishop c4, so knight f6. You feel like c3 is the immediate way to get a good lasting advantage? No. Well, I mean, dude, that's impossible. What you're saying is basically impossible. White gets a lasting advantage against d6, like, easily. That would be a pretty bold claim in the main lines. I'm totally biased. I mean, on the black side of the Sicilian, so there's that too. I think it's decent, but I don't think it's anything special. But here, I've never played this before. E5 feels wrong. It feels wrong. You're like undermining your own center. This was played against my friend Emil Sladgie, I remember a couple years ago. He lost to a guy who's just not even close to as good as him, objectively, but he's a very irrational player who doesn't know how to draw. But I think it raises an interesting question. Maybe black should seriously consider e6 or a different move order. Yeah, I don't know this. I don't know this really, but I don't think we should be afraid of e5. It's a harmless sideline. Now, e6 is forced, and then apparently this is the main move. You know, so it's kind of like a. It looks like a Budapest gambit, basically. White has what appears to be a kind of early initiative with these three pieces developed. But the problem is his d4 is very weak in the long run. And, you know, for example, black has very good control of d5 and d4. Black's development is a little slow, but I've never played this position for black. I only saw Sladgie play it. But I can't remember what he played. That's another problem. Maybe it was a different variation even. I don't know. If knight on bd7, no one ever plays that? Yeah, you can't play knight on bd7. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was a different line I was trying to remember. Yeah, this is funny. Like, knight on bd7, the most natural move, like, just loses immediately. Because here, the chance of survival out there looks relatively low. That's pretty crazy, though. If you don't know this, only h4 wins by force. Wow. It's very possible that even a grandmaster, I would assume like white has multiple winning moves here. Very possible that some grandmaster playing this position might not even know that. Looks wrong. Looks wrong. Well, it's like a knight on bd7. It's like a knight d7 Caro-Kann. Well, the bishop's already blocked in. But yeah, I mean, I understand your point. The structure with this isn't so hot. You want to challenge knight in e5. Okay, I played a6. He plays a4. And now I played queen c7. But whatever. I'm not sure there's a lot of difference between bishop d6 and queen c7. Objectively, I'm going to play those two moves. And now white, you know, what are you going to do about your knight in e5? I mean, rook e1 is definitely playable. Anna Bertasova, Harriet Hunt. You know, two good players with black. They both took out. Some random B-hotches. Randos. Anyone under 2350 is a rando. I'm 2344 now. Although back in 2008, my rating was more like 2400. I would argue that I've lost 50 points to deflation. Essentially, it's true. I've lost 50 points to deflation. Alright, f4. This I was happy to see. And now I played the novelty. That's so natural. Wait, is dreaming of playing f5, but you can't play that without dropping your knight. So Uli Bin, Duknikov, let's see, those other games, everyone castled. I just didn't see why I have to commit myself so early. Knight c6, 11 move game, congrats. It doesn't work, man. It's like a Blobix attack. But I can't believe this like refutes it. I mean, turn on the engine. Watch the engine here. By the way, he played this move instantaneously. Well, he used 20 seconds. The computer doesn't... This is a pretty fast processor. It works for white. It works like it doesn't lose. But there's some very subtle variation. If we go depth 25, well, it's not winning for white. How does Blobix know so much about this crap? White doesn't even play b3. How do you know? You've borrowed the idea. Okay, at depth 25. So obviously, Sladgie, you know, didn't see it at depth 25. He saw it at depth 26. And that's why he instantly decided to play bishop b5. He analyzed 26 moves deep and realized that white has a clear advantage. Well, anyway, I was in a state of shock, but I don't have a choice, right? So take. I have to sack my queen. Rook takes a1. Pawn takes. And then I'm getting this guy. And the point is, after this, I have bishop d7, and I thought I was okay. No, nothing's better. I played perfectly. But Sladgie has queen a6. No, I mean, if I'm lost, I'm lost. But I don't think it's so obvious, man. In fact, he made a mistake immediately. King e7. Only Blobix would have found b3, which is the winning move, apparently. Capybara, sorry. We're just analyzing today. Only b3 wins for white. So I guess he didn't analyze 27 moves deep, just like 25. I mean, even if I sack my rook repunch, I have 3 pieces for the queen. My king is relatively safe on dark squares. So he misses it, and he plays the obvious move, queen a2. And now after rook c1, I have compensation. This is what I thought would happen. And the computer says it's equal. But he's not using a computer, I guess, so... Yeah, breaking the position with d4, of course, these are things we want to consider. Yeah, I'm sure he considered d4. f5, d4 would be my main. I mean, I looked at queen a7, obviously, it doesn't do anything. I just blockade. I have material, almost material equality. If I get the pawn back, I'm basically equal. But d4, I guess that can be dangerous. Yeah, this is a good try, Repunch. Opening up the d file against my king. It looks like if I take here, computer sees some good lines, but I'm not sure they're very obvious. Yeah, d4 makes sense in principle. f5 makes sense in principle. But instead he played c4, which I was like, what is that? That was a weird move. He plays c4, which is like a delayed d4, b4 kind of thing. So he can push to c5. Now he should have played d4, but he played b4, which isn't as good. I have no idea what the difference is. This is a mistake technically, but I missed something coming up. d4. Yeah, here. Naturally I was afraid. Rook takes b7. I have no clue why. I guess I thought d5 was dangerous. My fear, I guess, was that when I take with the rook here, he's going to have something with d5. If we turn off the engine, for example, like rook takes, d5, takes. Besides checks, like this one, he also has, there I can probably go to e7. But I guess I was scared of stuff like this. But according to the computer, it's okay. Black's okay. And remember, I have this b pawn, so I thought, okay, I'm fine. I took this. This is apparently a very big mistake. Bishop takes f4, d5. Yeah, I mean, bishop f4, I wanted to get this pawn. I had to play rook. I should have played rook takes b7. And now I made another mistake. I think I'm supposed to take on b7. Well, pretty much anything other than what I did was okay. This check didn't help me. I figured his king would be exposed and it would give me some tactics. Now he just like unleashed like 100 checks in a row. This is very uncomfortable. But somehow I survived. Luckily I have this trick, king c8. Yeah, we have no idea. Criminal McDuck. We have this beautiful trick here based on bishop takes check. And he swings over to g5, and now black is still okay. But here I basically was getting low on time and I freaked out. We're both very low on time here. I'm panicking, that my whole pawn chain is going to go bye-bye. But there was like one key idea that I missed. And I'm not like used to looking at this position from the white side. I don't think that black's defense here was easy to find. Maybe... I still don't understand. I swear I think, like... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I honestly didn't see how to defend. There is a defense, apparently. Knight d7, which I don't fully get. Like, it looks horrible for black. But apparently I create, like, a little fortress here. Maybe if I was, like, a semi-Slav Botvinnik variation player, I'd be okay with this little cubicle over here. Yeah, who needs the king side? But I don't remember what I did now. Oh, I played that. And then I was expecting him to take here. But what the hell was my point? What the heck was my point anyway? I guess I can take on d6 or something? I was looking at stuff like this. Doesn't work. Yeah, unfortunately, 94 doesn't really threaten anything. It was just too hard for me to maintain the position. But anyway, this is strong as well. c5. Now I played bishop d5, just sacrificing a piece. I hope that my b pawn would be strong enough. Check. Here. Takes. You know, and I honestly thought, like, oh, okay, 2 bishops. Pawn here. Very powerful pass pawn. And hey, maybe I'm okay. But it's not. Black's, like, completely lost. Yeah, I mean, you're calling this an opening trick, Blobix, but I mean, there's no examples of anyone ever falling for that. Are there actual games where this has happened? Why are they not in the lichess Opening Explorer? I mean, that's a level of trick that any Grandmaster could have fallen for. It's extremely deep. But I was impressed by his play in the subsequent part of the game here. Now, 2 bishops, we saw this ending. 2 bishops against queen. What's that about, by the way? Is that a theoretical draw? It is, right? It has to be. I want to play that sometime on the queen versus 2 bishops part. If queen against 2 bishops has to be a draw, right? If I could just get rid of those pawns, but that's not happening. Man, I mean, like, I had no idea you had bishop e5. I didn't know that's a trick. But I mean, look in the lichess Opening Explorer. There's probably a million games. When you play a6, you just put it out of your mind, you know? It's like, that can't be a thing. I've never played this position before, but yeah, there's 18 games where this happened. Although even, you know, this position, there's 91 games played on lichess that are not bullet, and only 21% of the players found bishop e5, of which like 5 were using engines. You think the 2 bishops lose versus the queen? That's disturbing. How about rook and knight? I wouldn't think so. 2 bishops lose versus queen? Yikes. Is that one of those, like, you know, 195 move things? They had to extend the length of the 50 move rule for? Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about with no pawns, obviously. How am I supposed to play this if not queen a2? I know. Well, let's see. I like some people sack the exchange here. You know, look, black even won like 36% of the games. But notice this guy, it's knee clocks, is 2600. Who is that? There's it's knee clocks and there's knee clocks. Hey, Quill. Do you think he's got enough accounts? So it's Sneaklox has already played this twice with 2 different accounts. Yeah, and 4 out of 6 players played. Yeah, not one player found the computer move. That's the only winning move. The good thing is that means that none of these people are cheating, probably. Blobix would have found it, of course. Blobix would have played b3 on an earlier move and transposed. So it wouldn't be a problem. No, I mean, there's no way you can find b3 maybe in a classical game, you know. No one can be expected to find that move. It's interesting that someone played d4, the Niklox guy, and someone played d3. He doesn't like this queen a2 either. He's the biggest expert. But everyone else played this. Oh, he actually discovered... Interestingly, Niklox, who's 2700 Blitz player, whoever he is, he first played queen a2 and won, and then in subsequent games, he didn't repeat it. That's weird. So in subsequent games, he played d4, and another game with the less aggressive d3. That's really random. Oh, that's the oldest game. My bad. So first he played d3, then he played queen a2, and then he played d4, never finding the move with b3. No, it's really interesting. All right. ABC FIGM. Does anyone want to sponsor Arsenal to be faster, to be like first? We can sponsor, you can donate to sponsor other players, have the games analyzed first. Why am I getting this crap? Just leave it alone. Leave me alone. Alright. Ooh, the vodka sauna thing. The vodka helped a little bit, I'll tell you. I was drinking Palinka, it didn't do anything. But the vodka seems to help a little bit. Well, I don't trust Belarusians on politics and war and shit, but vodka, maybe they know what they're talking about a little. Alright. E4. Alright, we've got... Oh no, another game against me? Are you serious? You guys stop submitting games against me? It does. It kills any disease. I played check and FIGM asked, like, what should his plan be in the middle game? Alright. Yeah, Blobix, I said many times, like, they diagnosed me with mononucleosis, I went out, got drunk, and I was better the next day. We ran up like a $400 bar tab with a couple friends of mine. I think they must have misdiagnosed me in the first place. The test must have been wrong. There's no way I had mononucleosis. Got drunk that night and got better. Mononucleosis you can have for like months. I mean, there must have been something faulty. Satoshi's brother, 28, 23. Alright, I gotta turn this lichess database off. That's true, Blobix. Where'd you learn that? Alright. Do they have French vodka? too many other good drinks. I like myself some good cognac. Send me some good cognac. So, okay. First of all, knight d7 is like the gold standard. Yeah. This is the gold standard for black, right? I play knight c6. It's not great, but I play it out of the Rossalimo. It's so weird how I played normal moves in a better position and we're completely losing. You were losing? Shocky? Well, maybe you were worse. I think you might be like going a little bit, you know, saying you were losing was a little bit of an exaggeration. Because the engine says it's like +2 for me in some obscure position. Still, it was easier for you to play, probably. I mean, that we could have a philosophical argument about what losing means. The engine's evaluations are really not geared toward humans, objectively. But I don't think you should blame yourself, you know. 6 players in Blitz and Rapid didn't find that move, and neither did you. Neither would I, and neither would many grandmasters. Nothing to blame yourself for. After knight c6, no, I don't know. But this is the safest variation. Okay, now I don't know what I'm doing. This isn't the game. I played bishop. He played bishop d7, and it's my turn with white now. I don't really know how to play the Moscow variation, but I don't want to be playing the open Sicilian all the time. I'm not really an e4 player, so I am honestly just kind of searching for some alternative that I feel comfortable with. I was trying to play the b3, the Blobix attack. Blobix just gets me in trouble, and I keep losing to grandmasters with his openings. But I just remember John Curto playing this years ago, and it feels, I just pretend I'm playing the BOGO, you know, that's all I do. I'm just pretending I'm playing the BOGO, and I already played e4, you know, which could happen in a normal BOGO. It's just a BOGO. Okay. So a4, not the theoretical move. Takes and c4 is, and c4. You can play c4, you can play takes and c4. I remember JC used to play queen e2 as well. It's another variation I've played. I like this, like takes, check, queen d7, and a4. Yeah, this queen is a little bit sus. Okay, this is a very safe way for white to play. But black handled it well, I thought. You know, he played knight c6 here. Knight c6 makes sense. Why, you know, why not call my bishop on c6 into question? The engine, for some reason, likes knight f6 better, but the database, majority of players play knight c6. Maybe it just feels the most natural. Knight f6 makes more sense, maybe. I mean, are we going to get into a game? Can we get the same shit that happened in the last game, please? I keep thinking about how I keep thinking about this game where I saw the same shit. You know, takes, knight takes, like the last game. Very similar. You know, Chernyshov is another Nimzovich positional guy. We've played a number of times. He reminds me of, like, Boris and Natasha. Knight f6 makes sense, though. Oh, you could sack a pawn or something, Arsenal. Yeah, I'm not even sure about that. But anyway, okay, whatever. This is fine. The question is, like, how constructive a move is a4 for white? If I try to play something sharp now, I've played a4, so I can't really do anything great. So I just, you know, the inner Blobix came out. Castles is obviously a normal move, but I wanted to transpose to the b3. I figured this would transpose to a b3 Sicilian, because I knew Blobix would be watching the stream later. He could, like, he could give me his opinion about my awesome play on the white side of the b3 Sicilian. But this doesn't transpose, seemingly. Now I have a problem. This is an accurate move, attacking my pawn. And I don't really want to block my bishop by playing knight c3, acerbate. And queen e2 feels kind of artificial, although obviously this is playable. Yeah, I like a4. That's why I played it. Yeah, you do this. Sure. So I just played d3. I'm kind of surprised there's no games in the master database at all. Let's see lichess. No games found? No, there they are. Alright. It took it a little while. White has a negative score. You know who I think, if I'm not mistaken, used to play this crap with white? The streamer known as Chess Network. He's not a really strong master over the board, but he's a very good blitz player. And I have the feeling he does this kind of crap. I think he played it against me. So I defend the pawn. You like the knight b8. You're getting a little fancy, Arsenal. Why do you want to trade your good bishop for my bad bishop? And undevelop your knight. It's not... it's the Roy Lopez. You send a game if there's time. Alright, Bill. If I live that long, we'll try to put it in the list. I'm under the weather, so I'm waiting for the next symptoms to arrive. Oh, I can't. Oh, Bill. All right, I'll just put it in a. I can copy PGN tools analysis. Import. Just a few extra steps, no problem. Studying. Thank you, Arsenal fan. Lots of pyramids. Anyone watching the Hans Demon game? Dude, let me guess. He's playing in a premier destination. He has unlimited travel expenses. The Mallorca Open. Is that why this is being broadcast? I was like, why is the... Honestly, yeah, really, Shaki. Why is the Mallorca Open, like, being broadcast? Who cares? I never heard of it. Alright. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm glad that the whole Hans thing is kind of past us now. We can make jokes about prosthetic devices or whatever. But I'm glad that he's out of the news loop. Move 11 gifted a sub. I'm glad that Hans isn't in the news anymore, quite honestly. Alright, so here we were. Because he really doesn't deserve to be. Black played very solid ace e6 here. Obviously you can play g6, castles, and then, you know, so Arsenal fan, thank you for the donations. I think that I played kind of solid but lamely. So Robert Hess and Chernyshov have played this for white. They're both solid positional players, sort of schematic players. Bishop b2. I don't know, you know, I remember the computer didn't like my knight on bd2 either, maybe because of Bobix's idea of knight a3. To be honest with you, though, I was like kind of concerned that Black was going to play e5 and shut this guy down. I thought I might save time. If he goes for an e5 type of structure, I might save time. Not putting my bishop on b2. Of course, I should still try to play for f4. I don't know if I can get it. But here, okay, it's just a move. Black castled. Now I played bishop b2. We transposed to those games. Move 11. Gifted tier 1 sub to Marry Chess. Yeah, oh, not the St. Louis thing. There's a new politician in the St. Louis legislature, in the Missouri state legislature today. It came out in the news. that he supports, like, you know, childhood marriage for 12 years old and up. I'm not going to St. Louis anytime soon. Blobix75 FM gifting 10 subs to community. Yeah, I don't want to know about Hans playing in the shithole tournament. The Republican right-wing masters. Alright, Blobix, super generous, 10 donations. 500 bits. I can't keep up with this. Arsenal's going off. We must be close to a hype train. Are you kidding me? How do we not have a hype train? Move 11 gifted. Are hype trains like turned off on Thursdays? We should hit one. But, you know, interesting question here. I play both kinds of... I kind of play both sorts of this position with both colors, and I'm reticent to play a6 because of take a5. But oddly, when I was playing this game, I didn't want to pull a trigger on it. These people were afraid. Everyone who played b6, like Modliev, was afraid of a5. So they, you know, but one player played a6, and this is interesting. So this, I think he's Polish. Leniart. He wasn't afraid of the takes and a5. Normally, I've had trouble sometimes with that sort of pawn falling. So I do it sometimes in the Bogo and Nimzo structures, but I'm not sure if it's good. But I think objectively, like, maybe I have to. Other than that, like, you just had the bishop pair for nothing here. It's basically a good reverse Bogo. Arsenal fan, thank you for donating 500 bits. I mean, I'm afraid, like, of ghosts. I've lost a lot of Bogos where I overextended my A-pawn and it got surrounded with, like, bishop d8, bishop c7, and takes. But honestly, I might play it on a given day. Instead, I decided to do this, but because I missed something. This is a really, really major moment. I decided to do this, giving up my own center, because I thought, okay, he has to, like... Honestly, I thought he'll have to take and either give me his bishop or retreat it back to e8. Now, in my mind, you know, or possibly bishop d5, but that looks really weird. In my mind, everything was okay, and I was fully Blobix approved. Now a5 I like even better, for example. But what I missed was this exclamation point move by my opponent, knight g4. This was excellent. You know, this move is, like, clearly best, and if you don't play that, you know, white might have a more pleasant position. Now I was seriously concerned that, you know, he has a very powerful bishop, unopposed. Long-term black could even be slightly better. So I didn't know what to do. There are also weird possibilities of black playing d5. What do you guys think about this? Just imagine, like, I do, like, rook e1 and he plays this. You know, the knight can recycle back here and it can become, like, a French defense. I mean, I'm just not really sure. This can become strong. This sucks. My bishop on b2 is nothing. It's really not a good piece. Yeah, h3. h3, I didn't play h3. I guess I thought about it a lot. Well, I mean, he's just going to take, and there's a problem, right? He has bishop takes g2? No. Queen d5. I guess I saw this, and I anticipated I would have to play knight f3. My evaluation here is that white is probably worse. It's not a question. It's not clear how bad. Maybe black should play like b6 to prevent the a5 lockdown, and then slowly f6. And it's just like, what am I going to do, you know? I'm playing the black side of a kind of inferior Budapest gambit. Oh man, I'm glad I played h3 now with white. So black's just better. So he asked about like what, sorry. We're ill. He asked about what his middle game plans. I thought you played it quite well. So I played queen e2, trying to focus on e5 and e6, obviously. I don't want black to play e5 or f6 and e5. Here, attacking h pawn, this would be like terribly weakening. The b3 Sicilian, this b3 Sicilian looks so slow. Yeah, thanks. Blogs for donating 10. I'll tell you the truth. You're right. It does. It's not, I wasn't happy with this. I thought I had nothing. I'm basically black, right? And then another good move, knight h2. Here I'm hoping, of course, like I wouldn't do this probably. I would just stick my knight on e5, but that's all right. You know, now we're all right. Nim's a bitch. The Streamlabs donate page is broken. It won't check out. But are you trying to pay with credit card or PayPal? Wow, that's weird. That's not good. I don't know, maybe I'm not like logged in somehow. Let me check. That's bad. Well, they hate me for not subscribing to Nitro or Streamlabs Pro or whatever. I don't know. It's acting weird on my end too, because normally I'm logged into the chat, but it's letting me stream and it sees like my mini feed, but it's like not letting me see the chat. It's blocking me seeing the chat by saying create an account or log in. I don't know if the problem is on this computer I don't have my I don't have my password saved on this machine. I'll just have to fix it later. Alright, thank you for letting me know, Bill. I don't know if I could try to log in on the other computer. Let me see. Maybe I can try to log in on Streamlabs on my other machine. But I don't see why I would have to be logged in. That's weird. Sladgie. I want to see my account. No. Who wants cookies? We'll see if I'm not logged in on Streamlabs. Maybe something happened and like my token expired, or it is acting kind of weird. Maybe I need to re-log in somehow. This is not working. Stram, and my E key doesn't work. I'm so happy about this. The other day my E key on my old laptop just stopped working. Can I just log in, please? Why are you so difficult? Alright. Arsenal fan has used 500 bits. I don't know what to say. Bill, you could try once more. And other than that, the direct PayPal link work, of course. But anyway, thanks for pointing out the problem. Maybe I just wasn't logged in. Somehow, maybe it published my IBAN. Man, I hope... By the way, like, speaking of IBAN, I don't know if I ever got paid by the World Senior Championship for my 13th prize. I hadn't even checked the bank account. They're such criminals. They couldn't pay the prizes at the site. Are you serious? Have you guys... I mean, a European tournament, is that normal? Unbelievable. Sorry, we have to send the prizes directly from our oligarch's bank. We can't pay you in cash. Jesus Christ. Even in Hungary, tournament directors often, like, you know, will pay you in cash. Checks through the post? Yeah, but we don't have checks here. I guess in the UK it's different. UK might be more like US with banking and shit. Yeah, the amount was too high. Alright, we're back. Knight H2. Thank you, Bill, for the donation. Let me see if I can refresh chat now. Yes. No. Come on. I don't know. It doesn't matter. This is a great move, by the way. But I wonder, you know, should you leave your bishop there? You might as well. Alright. What about b6? Is this too slow? I don't think he needs to worry about a5 necessarily. Okay. Here. I thought he played great. Knight f6 would have been better. No. No, I don't think so. I like this for me, you know. What are you going to do? It's a totally normal, like, BOGO. You can play this. You can give me your bishop. But I think white's okay. I like the what you did better. I think here your advantage is clear, like slight edge. This seemed kind of weird to me at the time. I'm not sure it's bad, though. You know, the trick is, like, I don't have bishop e5 because the bishop takes f3. Do I? No, because I, like, take. If I trade your bishop off, you know, trade your bishop pair off, you don't have that much. So, I don't know. I mean, for me, like, bishop d6 is more normal, but maybe this actually restricts me more. It keeps away knight g5, which might be a maneuver. But now you're cut off. Alright, but what would you have done if you had played bishop d6 and I went here anyway? I mean, I think what the position is, like, equal. It's equal. Alright. It's equal. Better than knight h2? I'm not sure it's better than knight h2. Objectively. And now, it's funny how I kept ignoring a5. But there's definitely risk involved in playing that move. I would normally, like, consider doing that. I think I was in time pressure. I had used up all my time. Yeah, and then you did a good job here avoiding this exchange of queens. I was afraid to play f4. Maybe b5 is a move, Arsenal, sure. He can do that. It's like a Budapest Gambit pawn break on the queen side. The white side of Budapest Gambit is what black is playing here. He's got a better, you know, he's got the minority attack on the queen side, so yeah, he could break me up. And then he could draw a 4 against 3. That's the best, when you like, you really grind them down and you draw 4 against 3 endgame after 150 moves and lose your next game that day in the double round tournament. If he gets in b5, c4, he'll grind me for 150 moves. Draw, and then lose the next game. Queen e4, queen d6, g3, f5, and then the crazy thing happened. I think I missed... Maybe I had queen c4? I didn't like it, no. I didn't like this because of check in b5. You played e5, and then I could have taken on... So this is where it went crazy. I could have taken on b7. And I waited a move for some reason. No, I did take it. Wait. Oh, okay, no, on the previous move. When you played f5, I could have taken on b7. I don't know what happened. I just, like, missed it or something. You would have done the same thing. But I'm fine. I mean, I have bishop here, don't I? No, you just blundered. f5 is a blunder. I could take on b7. Honestly, if I was you, I would probably just, like, offer a draw or something. I don't know. Or maybe Arsenal's right. Maybe b5. You can try, like, b5, maybe. So I blundered by not taking on b7. Then I took it, but it was a little bit late. And then you played f4, which is very dangerous. This was very dangerous. But I missed something. I missed something important here. Queen e4. I was afraid of this stuff too. Queen e4. These f3 in reserve, so you can play stuff like queen h6. I wasn't really sure what was going on. I might have some weird way of defending, like coming down here. But it's totally, like, not completely sound for black until I blundered with g4, e4, allowing this to play. And even now white's okay. But now I totally, like, freaked out because I thought I was, like, in trouble. I wanted to play, what did I want to do? I wanted to take? You're threatening f3, right? I missed pawn takes pawn. That's what it was. I remember now. I missed pawn takes pawn because I thought, okay, f3, e5, queen h6, and I'm, like, lost. The problem is I can play king h2. I didn't realize, like, I could still... I guess I'm okay. Okay, he has a draw. Or maybe not. Okay, what happens here? Like... Yeah, no, but I mean, I knew better. I mean, I knew, like, this was extremely bad, but apparently it's totally lost for white after e3. I checked this with the engine. Does that bring up any memories for anyone from today? I was the inspiration for Nepomniachtchi, obviously. Nepomniachtchi lost the same way, basically, you know, allowing this, like, devastating protected passer on the 6th today against Ding. To be fair, he was okay. Like, he had a massive knight that, like, blockaded. But anytime you do this, like, there's a good chance you're in a lot of deep shit. Yeah, I was lost after e3, according to the engine. But, you know, it's not that surprising that my opponent didn't want to close it up. He wanted to, like, attack me and my king, open up my king. So he just took. But this is not as good. And then you surprise me with another move. But this is just, I guess this just loses. Yeah, so now now you're screwed. I mean, I don't know if you're screwed. Okay, let's say you just keep the position, but you're down a pawn, and your pawns are... Too many pawns are stuck on dark squares. I think the engine said this is just game over. Yeah. +6. Well, the problem is, like, black doesn't have an immediate threat at first glance, right? It looks like white black's not threatening anything. But the long term, yeah, the power of this pawn, like, long term is just too much. It doesn't even matter that he's down a pawn. It doesn't matter that his bishop is bad. That pawn is just too much. And the ability to, like, push it to here. Yeah. Rook f7 is a threat. Yeah, and it guards the 7th rank too. So I was shocked, though, by how big the advantage was. I thought, okay, maybe I'll be a little bit worse or lost, but not that bad. But it was +6. And now it looks like you're lost. I mean, objectively, you're not totally lost here, but this loses by force. Because now you allow an ending where you have no chance. Too many pawns on dark squares. I mean, if your bishop is on a5, okay, give you one more tempo. Or g3. You need one more tempo, but I'm too close. It's 2 pawns. Alright. Anyway, guys, thank you for your donations supporting the stream. Quiz has followed. I'm a little under the weather. I've got some new variant of COVID or something from my kid, or maybe from poker. I don't know. But I'm hanging in there. I'm not really 100% today, so if I'm a little slow, just not feeling it. But chess is good. It's like a distraction. This is Blobix, right? A, B, C, D. It's good it's not raining. Chapter 3 sounds like a horror movie. Well, you're playing black, I assume. The double fianchetto looks familiar. What do we got here? G3. Man, I remember when I was a young master, I lost... I concluded this very important takeaway from this. I learned from this game that the Queen's Indian doesn't work. The hedgehog doesn't work against... Basically, my takeaway is the hedgehog doesn't work against the King's Indian attack. It's important. I think it's true. It doesn't really work, you know. White will just light you up with, like, D3, E4, F4, F5, and I was like, oh shit, where's my counterplay? I'm trying to play the hedgehog against the King's Indian attack. And the hedgehog, you know, you just don't have any counterplay. You're just sitting there with, like, a hedgehog. So, we'll see what Blobix does here. It's not a hedgehog yet. No, he plays G6. Not E6. See, this is the point. This is just, like, passive for black, you know? You can play it, but it's passive. Nothing special. It's not a great way to play against, like, the King's Indian attack, let's say. So I like G6 for you. But we know I have a weakness for double fianchetto. But maybe we can get just like a little more active position than a typical sort of hedgehog formation. Your king side is safer. It's interesting here. Yeah, it's not clear like why anybody would prefer to play knight on BD2 to E4. Obviously, white's possibly, you know, capable of playing like C4, but then why did we play D3? Yeah, so it's pretty much... You could do like a Romanician attack. Mr. Coffee, welcome. E4, normal move. We should transpose, right? And now Blavix played D6. So as you can see, like, a couple players transposed to symmetrical, well, not symmetrical. Okay, what is this? It's the King's Indian attack versus a G6 Hedgehog Sicilian setup. But this is definitely better than playing E6. That's the most important thing. If you substitute E6 Bishop E7 for G6 Bishop G7, I like white. Mr. Coffee. Mr. Coffee is a French defense player, so he... Busy with donut making. I'm under the weather. I've got a bad cold. I'm not optimistic for my Saturday poker game. When I get sick, I don't generally get better that quickly. So now Blavix played D6. So what's that about? It's okay, but what are we going to do? I mean, eventually, Blavix, you have to do something. You're going to have to either play a symmetrical King's Indian or go into the Sicilian. I mean, it's theoretically possible to play D5. One of my victims from the World Senior played this. E5, allowing E5. Yeah, not my favorite either, but, you know, I guess it's an option. So now white plays a super lame move. When he plays this for like, whew, not the most dynamic King's Indian attack player in the world. My old nemesis. How do you say for plural? Nemesis? Plural? I had some nemesis at the Boylston Chess Club who are hardcore King's Indian guys, and they definitely would have gravitated toward the sort of knight h4. The plan is very clear, bro. We're coming for your throat with f4 f5. Blavix gonna need a plan, bro. Igor Zaitsev lost against Harbo Simon. I just watched the South Park episode yesterday. That's funny. You guys ever see the episode where Cartman gets these like sea people in the mail? It was perverse and ridiculous. I'll leave it at that. They were like sea monkeys. Anyway, H3 is lame. 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 I agree with this. This is okay. He could still turn into Tigran Petrosian. And now we've got a mutual Petrosian game. This is like Petrosian versus Petrosian. But another sort of weird, dubious move by white. He forces black to play h6 for free. I had to pay for my h3 with the tempo, but you're going to play it for free. You understand me, young man? I insist you get this move for free. Wow. I want to see like Nepomniachtchi versus Blavix from this position. That would be a fireworks. I wonder if Blavix would play d5 against Nepomniachtchi here. This is a gutsy move. My number one fear is like everything gets traded and it's a draw. I had a funny game where someone cheated against me yesterday. I just want to show you guys the opening just for kicks. They played on their own the first couple moves and then clearly used an engine. But it was funny. It was the weirdest Petrov I ever played. It was like Queen H5, Queen E7, Knight F3, Knight F6, Queen takes E5, and then Queen takes E5, Knight takes D6, Knight F3, Knight takes E4. And after this point, White played like, turned into like, you know, stockfish and ground me down in like a pawn-up ending with perfect play the whole game. But that's what I'm afraid of. You know, the point is like I don't want to end up playing some kind of Petrov ending with a symmetrical structure. But it depends on Blabix's opponent. Blabix, if you're playing a higher rated player, it's fine. I would feel like I'm afraid this is going to lead to like mass simplification, mass extinction of dynamic opportunities. If this guy was a real chicken, he would take like this, right? Now what do we do? Take on E4? My fear is like a total like chicken draw. Black is equal for sure, but you know, there's a chance that they draw because the position is so like symmetrical. After what? D takes C5, Knight takes C5. What? We would get like this or something? You gotta get your pawn back, so he's probably gonna take. Then we're gonna take here. No, it's possible that it's better for black, but you're also pinned on this diagonal. It's a little better for black, according to the engine. But I don't think that Blabix can complain about equalizing. Man, you know what I was thinking? Basically, you're playing like kind of a safe setup against the King's Indian guy. Like if you were, I analyzed a lot of games by like Tal and Bronstein and all these King's Indian guys, and they did struggle against this sort of solid. I'll give you an example. Hungarian master Pal Petran used to play this type of stuff with like double fianchetto against the King's Indian, and it's very, very solid. If White is like a strong attacker, he's probably going to have a hard time getting anything like dynamic going here, but this move doesn't look right, man. Oh my god! I'm going to leave the center. I mean, you got to play Queen C1 or Rook E1. Right? Right. No, exactly. I mean, this is not a move. Like, Knight H2 is ridiculous. Blabix defended. There's always my favorite move, Queen C8. Now he finds Queen C1, but he's anti-Rook E1. He's hoping his rook plays from its original square. Uh-huh. And now he goes here. Oh my god. Well, I mean, what's happening here? You know, you can see very clearly. White's slowly, systematically ignoring the center. But this is an important tactical moment in Blobix's life. I guess the million-dollar question is, what happens if White takes this pawn? I always last time I had that against Ferenc Gombos Jr., I lost. But it's not that stuck. I mean, G4 could happen or something. But, like, how do you attack it again? Well, it happened to me. I always draw parallels with an early game I saw Shamkovich play. Shamkovich had his knight on h6 in a Lopez. And I didn't understand how he was going to get it out of there, but he won the game somehow. The chicken guy. Obviously, you don't play knight g4 if you're afraid to play knight takes h6. Unfortunately, this isn't really possible because of this. But I have a question. This wasn't Blobix's plan, but I think knight c5 looks pretty good, to be honest with you. As a student of Botvinnik, unofficially, I like this move too. I don't care if he plays like b4 or something. I'm swinging back here, and I've got a huge huge edge for black. That's an alternative. You got to be careful about trading too many pieces against noobs. Blobix has b5 on his mind. So this is the missing link. That's why White, I would prefer to take with the bishop. But it's still not okay. I mean, look at the control of the center. If you just count material, White's fine, everything's fine, right? But it's not fine, you know? White just has no control of the center compared to black. It's like 3-1. I mean, you've got b5, you got f4, you know, but even without that, you just have the center. Yeah, this is why he did knight takes g2. No, I mean, f4 is dangerous. Well, what does chicken player do now? I can't believe he didn't play bishop b4 right away. If you're a chicken player afraid and playing for a draw, no, you gotta trade pieces. Trade pieces and pray, you know. I think he went here, but look at his king side, you know. It's really bad. I'm not sure what Blobix should do. He has a lot of options. I feel like knight a4 is kind of decentralizing, honestly, but I guess tactically, you know, Blobix is all about tactics with the Sveshnikov and whatever. We have a very different style. He's more kind of tactical. I mean, obviously knight a4 is not a bad move. There's a lot of good moves here for black, and the advantage is very lasting. Maybe White should even leave the bishop on c3. Jesus Christ. I don't know. I mean, I realize he's a little bit clustered, but but maybe this is better. I don't know. I don't like White's game at all. Isn't he like getting his bishop trapped now? Oh my god. Oh. Clustered. It's not good. It's not good. He finally played Rook E1. We got to give him credit for that. Congratulations for finding Rook E1 in the King's Indian attack. Such a rare idea, you know. And Bobby just plays B4. I keep wanting to centralize my queen. What do you have here? Some trick? Yeah, he's all about the tactics. Takes. Who cares about pawn structure? Bobix doesn't need any stinking pawn structure. But honestly, it is impressive if you consider the element of control of center here. It's not completely random what Black's doing, you know. He owns like all 4 central squares. And look at the mobility of Black's pieces. This can swing up and across and go down here. Yeah, White can sack the exchange. Now he takes. This is kind of a weird moment to do it, but alright. Oh no! Fianchettoed queen. Yeah, it was a clean game. Take him to the cleaners. Pretty much a technical win. Uber Driver could put up some resistance here. We got to break through at F2. Ah, I see H4, and then H3 is weak. Probably not bad. Well, I would assume like White has to take on H4. I mean, what else are you going to do? At least take on H4, right? Why would you push G4 and just drop the pawn? Is it not that bad? Check, here, takes. I mean, I assume Black's still winning. Oof. No way to defend F2. It's just brutal. Yeah, this was like Master crushes Amateur. Game 106.719. It's like the noobs in the 10-minute anonymous pool. Very nice. Alright. Good game, Bobix. You're capable of devastating power. Alright, this is Acerbate playing B3 with White. Wow. This is the new thing. Mixing it up with some B3. Sorry, friends. I'm a little under the weather, so a little slow today on the uptake. We're going to try to get through the games we have here. Acerbate does this now. He's doing B3. You better not tell XL Poker about it. He doesn't like it when people do like Fianchetto, the queenside moves. But Acerbate was playing the Owen defense up until 2 years ago. That was one of his defenses, so... Can I ask where I am on the list? Well, you're not last. You're almost last. You can get upgraded. Man, I can't believe we didn't get a hype train earlier. Alright, Blobix, thank you for sending in the game. Blobix, again, thank you. So what is Astrobate doing? He did this in another game. The Blobix Master. Astrobate with knight c3. Dude, are you like hanging out with Jabava? Just chatting or something? What is this? The Jabava attack. This is not good. I told him, you know, you can play e3, knight f3, c4. Well, that's about it, really. Queen c1, not recommended. No, knight c3, no good. He actually plays, you know, d5, which is... Alright, let's try to make it interesting, though. The question is, do we play e4? You could play e4 and play a kind of Mexican defense in reverse. Okay, this is better than nothing. Dubious variation for white. And then black goes. Wow, this is a very powerful move. Queen e7. Lining up opposite your king there. That's excellent. Except for this. Slightly justifying knight to c3. I would say if black makes a natural move here, black is slightly better. We do have a couple of games. Wow, Moksudlu lost back in 2016 with your experimental system. And someone lost against Mikhail Chisin. Not recommended to play against experienced grandmaster like this with white. Queen e7 novelty. Now we have quite a good English up a pawn. This is an interesting decision. I mean, you have to consider taking, but maybe black would take with the pawn. I guarantee Arsenal fan would take with the pawn. So it is an interesting position. Maybe you have another try. What if we got, like, psychedelic with knight f3? Like, what if I don't want to move my knight and trade my knight? You can get pretty good Sicilian. Panzer, how are you? I'm under the weather. Anyone who's just joining our stream for the first time should know. It should be a disclaimer that I'm really not ill very often, but I am not feeling great tonight. So you're losing a significant amount of time here, Astrobate. This looks problematic. After knight b4, I think we might have some issues. Here. Here. I don't really love this. Knight c3 looks a little bit slow. You know, I don't know if you have time for that. This is kind of more natural, but I don't know if he's going to take with the queen or take with the pawn. Black could try to castle queenside and sacrifice it, play it as a pawn sacrifice. I think that's his best shot. You know, I think this is interesting. If you sacrifice the pawn back to gain like a, well, pretty significant development lead here. Durabaili, rating with a party of 17. Thank you. Wow, the Grandmaster Durabaili, great example as a streamer. Like a really strong player who's actually taking the time to mostly do like really serious chess. I mean, I know you play Bullet too, but for the most part, you're taking chess really seriously to the viewers, which is what I try to do as well. Raiders from Durabaili, I am under the influence of something like alcohol and COVID or something like that. So I'm not at full strength today, but we are trying to go over these. We're doing our best analyzing games. Anyway, Acer, yeah, the engine likes this. Wow. So if you look, yeah, knight f6. I kind of like g takes for black as a practical try. Knight f3 is an interesting move, Acerbate. You need to think about cashing in your pawn advantage for maybe development. Just remember, develop quickly, control the center, follow fundamental principles. This is retreating. I don't like it. You're losing time with this move. And now he plays bishop b4. Not the most threatening. Queen c2 is fine. You're a natural English opening player. Knight e7. Totally migrating over to the other side while also losing time in return. Not recommended. Now, I don't think you should castle queenside here, although it's totally playable. Yeah, I shouldn't criticize it, I guess. It's just that you have moved several pawns in the vicinity here up, and I think it's risky. Basically, Acerbate, you're up a clear pawn with white, and I think that we don't want to take risks when we're winning already. Castling queenside is like rolling the dice. I mean, black can throw his pawns at you with a5, a4. We're opposite sides. You've got your c pawn, your b pawn moved up. Why take this kind of risk here? I think development and stay flexible with the castling. It's a Sicilian. Now you have to play, objectively you have to play d3 here. And he's massaging you a little bit, but you're holding. This is very committal. Now your extra pawn maybe doesn't have that much meaning. I mean, black has pretty good control here of d4. You don't like bishop f5? Well, I mean, okay, but if Acerbate plays d4 and blasts this guy, then I don't like bishop f5 either. But if black keeps control of d4 and just has a huge hole there, maybe Acerbate can do something crazy. I'm afraid it's not likely to happen. Basically what I'm saying is, if you do this, if black doesn't play well, let's say here, we might be able to play this because of the pin on the file, and if we don't end up backward, then we have a good game with white. If you can make this work tactically for white, it's all good. For example, pawn takes pawn, knight d5. In your face. I like it if this falls. But I think Acerbate would be well served to play a little more cautiously, or consider it at least. But he never should have castled queenside. But his opponent just decided to lose a piece. Boy, this happens a lot. Acerbate, use some kind of magic power to make your opponents like just drop pieces. It's pretty crazy. Now you're just up a piece for nothing. Easy game. Yeah, nothing to see here, folks. I assume there's going to be like a brutal checkmate. 1679. You wouldn't think they were in the same rating category. H4 is extremely strong. This is definitely the best move. And I would meet F5 with H5. So black was actually reasonable to play H5. Acer played this. But you might have better. Once Acerby gets coordinated, he's more like 2,000 plus. I think that his problem is like pawn play. But if there's not a lot of pawn play or like endgame technique, yeah, bishop d3. I don't know, for some reason I don't think that was on his, it wasn't on his GPS. This move is clearly very, very interesting. I just want to point out one crazy idea. Black might, he might be able to play knight c6, threatening here. For example, like knight c5, knight b4. When you almost gotta sack your queen. It should be entertaining, but not necessarily great. I don't know. I mean, if knight c6, honestly, if knight c6, we could play knight takes f6 check. This is probably good enough. In the end of the day, like, white's king is safer than black's king. But anyway, Astrobate settles for this, like, kind of random move. I don't love knight h5. Of course, he just took because he could, but you're actually not threatening anything. I mean, long term, yeah. But the point is, like, black doesn't have to react to this directly. He could play another move like there. Knight f6, rook f6, knight f6, queen f6, and he holds on. Black just took because he could. And that simplifies, and I think white's good here. What's the material? We're just up a piece. And then up the exchange. Enough said. This game has left the building. We don't need to spend much more time on this, but I'm sure Astrobate has a crushing checkmate. He just sacrificed a rook. He's got the theme, you know, he's got the themes on here, definitely. Like, who needs some calculation? It's horrible. It's over. You gotta mate with a rook there, right? Lowest form of life. I'm gonna change my stream title. This should go down well. We're not gonna be sacrificing any more viewers. That is not approved by the FCC. Alright. Always mate with the lowest form of life. Exclamation point. I like that quote. I'm not even drunk, but I feel like I am. I drank a vodka and a half a beer. This cold is pretty serious. I think I have COVID. All right, Astrobate, thank you. Jim. Jim is one of our heroes, a regular contributor to the stream, but he only plays Blitz, sadly. Late square bishop on essential position. LSD. I was trying to explain to Astrobate that the knight on b1 is the problem piece in the Queen's Indian. Jim, that's... Did you have a tournament? No. We're analyzing chess games previously submitted. So you have to submit them in advance of the stream. I might not live to the end of the stream, so I'm not taking any more games right now. We were just analyzing any kind of games, but no more submissions. That's what you get for playing d5. I had this weird game the other day where my opponent played b4. And I played bishop g4 and he played c4. I was like, what the fuck is that? And I looked this up and there's hardly any games. This was this dubious guy on my simul last week. But c4 is the engine's move there. Dude, I'm like, what? That's not how it's supposed to go. But Jim, this is awfully conventional move for you, isn't it? I mean, you're normally playing like hyper modern stuff. Budapest Gambit. Knight f3 must drive him crazy. I have to remember that I always play knight f3 against Jim. Well, I mean, obviously, like, I want to kill myself when people play this against me. But d4 is more critical. So, you know, b4 is the best move, g3 is okay, and e3 sucks. And anything else sucks. So he played the sucky e3, which is like White's worst main line. Notice the score. Probably the most disturbing thing here is that White actually has a negative score in all main lines. One of the reasons I basically quit playing the ready with White effectively because it just sucks, you know. But you have to play b4. I mean, this is the only... I mean, g3 is okay. You're basically being black, right? I've played everything. b4 is the best. But e3 just sucks. So, you know, you gotta know, dude, you're supposed to play knight c6 here. You didn't know this, or you like voluntarily didn't like, you don't like playing it? Because this line is very good for black. Maybe in Bullet or Blitz they can try weird funky stuff. I remember Galyash Miklos had a game in the books against Galyash Miki, who does play the English and the ready with White. But I mean, this is Black's best line. There's no question. You know, knight c6 is the best move, and it's not easy for White to even like prove that he's equal. I think this line is ugly for White. White is just worse. You know, I mean, it sucks. After c5, you're giving him like worst case scenario a normal opening with an extra tempo. I don't think it's as good. I'm not sure about the, you know, how good the reverse. The problem with the reverse Blumenfeld is that Black's knight is not on f6 yet, so it's not the same as a normal Blumenfeld. So, you know, it's not surprising, like, just the regular modern Benoni reversed is probably White's best option here. Okay, this is something experimental. Maybe we'll transpose. Yeah, it looks like e5, right? e5 doesn't work because of queen e2. e5, knight e5, queen e7, queen e2. That like wins for colors reversed. Unfortunately, e5 is not good enough. I'd be surprised if it wasn't at least playable. So you just played a sort of standard move here. G6 is also good. Actually, I think I had this position once against Chom Ishpan. Maybe we would transpose. I hated my position with white in the Hungarian Team Championship like 10 years ago. Hated my position with white against Chom and felt I was slightly worse, and I don't know, it was a draw somehow, but I was happy to get out of there with a draw with white against an old grandmaster. G6 is very solid. Knight F6 looks good. You know, by the way, does Bishop G4 like transpose to something? Wow, George Reina, 1977. This guy is like a physicist? That's crazy. He's a famous mathematician or physicist who lives in Israel. I don't know if I've ever seen one of the games in the database. He's still alive. He's on my Facebook friends. And though I've never met him. That's crazy. He's got a game from 1977 against Vadaj Laszlo. Bishop G4 is a move. I like your move. It seems correct. G6 is correct. Knight F6 is correct. So D3 is... What about G3? Well, I mean, if I was white, I would consider Bishop B2, but we have to calculate E5. Obviously, his plan is to put pressure on this pawn if possible. But G3, that looks reasonable. But I guess at the end of the day, you've got to defend this pawn. No. If you want to be funky, you could play Knight H6, but I don't trust that. Okay. Yeah, now E5 is strong. This is, well, basically you're playing a Blumenfeld reversed. After A3, A5. Vidit played A5, see? It's the same position from the normal Blumenfeld with reverse colors. But I don't know what this tempo means, you know. I would kind of think it was okay for white, to be honest. White played Queen E2 here. What kind of move is that? I don't think I understand, like, why white plays Queen E2? He wants to, like, congest his own position or something? Don't understand Queen E2. Maybe Bishop E2 would make more sense. Although you do have to watch for, like, hanging your knight to check in some variations. That happened to me. It happened to me. Yeah, Mariko's move looks weird, you know. But your move is solid. This is a novelty. No, Shuba Del Rio. Okay. Shuba played Bishop G5. Makes sense. Shuba kind of was ahead of his time here in 2000. Playing the Blumenfeld, the modern Blumenfeld with reverse colors. I always recommend his book, you know, Dynamic Chess Strategy. And his Hedgehog is good too. He's probably like the most disorganized chess writer ever, but it's still good. The problem is if if he doesn't do Bishop G5, like if he plays Bishop here, H6 might be a good move, preventing Bishop G4. And the other thing you need to know is that you should put your bishop probably on like F5 later. And that's what you did. Alright. So this is just not good. You know, I don't know what white's doing with knight on BD2. Or white has the following options, like Bishop E2, Bishop G5, Maybe g3 or something provocative. But this looks kind of lame. Castles. Yeah, so he blocked his own bishop, which isn't great. Bishop e2. Now, maybe you want to think about h6 to take away knight g5 and get your bishop, you know, that fallback square. But I don't think like bishop f5 is a bad move. This is a good square. And you did play h6. You played this like perfectly. I would say you played it perfectly. Rook e8. You decided to break on the queen side. And then I've been in situations like this with his side, and sometimes you have to take. It's like ugly, but there's no good way for him to keep the tension here. And b5, you know, a very natural move, but it like gives up this square. So sometimes white's best option is to actually like destroy his own pawn structure. It's like the lesser of the evils. But obviously it's a complex position. This is interesting. You're going to get, you know, penetration. I'm not sure there's anything you do with it yet, but maybe later. He just like forces you. It's like a Nescafe Frappe attack now. So he has knight e5. No problem. If knight e5, knight a2, and then you're like threatening to win a piece and the exchange. God, this is the threat, man, to go here. Phew. Yeah, nice. This weak square on c3. Plus, I mean, the obvious threat of knight takes d3. So he goes here. And if you play knight a2, well, he can kind of mitigate the danger by just like moving his bishop, but I don't like the look of this. I don't like the look of this. And the thing is, I'm not sure if he has any way to really do anything about it. It looks like black is just better. But I don't know about this. Rook e8 looks more fundamental. I guess you wanted to try to stop c5, but you can also give yourself a retreat square, by the way. If he plays c5, he's going to be giving up the d5 square. I'm not sure about queen c7. It looks kind of unnatural. I mean, I'm not enthusiastic about this cheapo here. Your bishop loses retreat squares. Your queen is kind of artificially placed. I mean, you know, dude, you could play like b6 or something. If it was like it's an Nescafe Frappe attack idea. Just stop him. That's the only move you played that I'm not sure about. But then here, so this whole time you've been like saving your rook for a more aggressive square. And then e4, which is essentially a pawn sacrifice. Bishop is hit. And now notice that Jim goes to g6, not h7, so he doesn't get back rank mated like in the London system. This is probably a good move. Yeah, it looks like you have tremendous compensation for the sacrificed pawn. Like very good coordination. Total coordination here, here. The e4. So if he takes, show me. Just show me. You could just take, right? You don't have to do anything with the pin. You could just take this. There's nothing really wrong with that. And you're threatening knight c3. Yeah, white's pieces are so much more passively placed. Look how all the white's pieces are in this box here. Your pieces are better spaced. Now you've got a crushing passed pawn on the 6th. And that reminds me of the game we saw earlier with the protected passer. White didn't want to go to h1 in view of this. Damn, dude. This guy's 2384. Blitz game. Don't tell me you're going to lose. Jim got super fancy now with rook c2. I mean, frankly, I would be tempted to play rook b2 and hope for bishop c3 and then smack him with that check. That's not mate, though. Oh my god. Takes here. It's not mate. It doesn't work. Alright. So rook c2, that's an inventive idea. And now you're sacking your rook for the little bit of a threat here. Oh my god. Wow, man. He's gonna have to sack the exchange back. He does. You got serious coordination, but do you have enough? You've sacrificed a whole piece now. I guess you're threatening d2 check, followed by rook c1. That bishop doesn't help him at all. This bishop is like useless. Oh, so he's just dropping a piece now. Well, I mean, obviously, like, bishop b6 is hopeless. His problem isn't f2. I mean, I guess he wanted to defend his knight so he could blockade d2 with the other guy. It just doesn't look like white can survive. Dude, that's impressive. How about, like, f3? Winning. Not that easy, though. Yeah, f3 is his only move. Yeah, you probably wouldn't have found the strongest move there, bishop d5. I mean, maybe, but it's not that obvious. So if you try to force things with, like, d2 check, white's actually better. Man, it's not easy. f3 paralyzing his knights. Now, obviously your king is safe on h7. Wow, rook a4, holy shit. What an amazing variation. Rook a8, b6, attacking the rook. Don't put your king on h7. Anyway, he couldn't find it. f3 is his only move. Here you were kind of merciful. Not really. This is Jim in bullet mode. That's a pin. There's no rook a4 now. Oh, he still has it. He still has rook a4. You have to be careful. If you take the rook, you're only clearly better. Yeah, it was a blitz game. It was a blitz game. He didn't play rook a4. He just resigned. Yeah, not a bad game by Jim, though, for a blitz game. Okay, move 11, Arsenal fan, chapter 8, and Bill. Alright. Move 11. I would like to submit this game for the next analysis stream. Move 11. The Surtabo DGT engine. I can't make this bigger? Get PGN. Okay. Wait. Copy. Mm. Mm. Copy PGN. This is a game against computer board. Board computer. Nice game, Jim. Yeah, I mean, I think I probably would have found F3 if it had been like a blitz game between us, and you have to be accurate, I guess. Okay, move 11 is playing against his DGT board. With H4. Now, the C4 is the main move. This is also interesting. Harlson. Gnarly Harlson. Bishop takes d3, queen takes d3, queen a5, check. And if you follow the database here, the opening explorer, it seems like that move has a much stronger result. Let me remember something about this now. There was a game where I think like Vita Levante or someone had this. Maybe it was a different position. Knight d2, e6, knight f3, queen a6, and then c4. Maybe I'm thinking of a different variation. I often get them confused. I don't see Levy's game. It must have been a different position. But the idea is the same. You know, like white doesn't want to trade queens in this position with the space advantage. So after queen a5 check, you know, that's why he plays this. We can meet queen a6 with c4. And now you're supposed to play e6. It does. It has an opening book. Yeah. But the interesting thing at this point is this queen swinging over. I've attempted to play this way with black, but after knight e2, queen a6, I was afraid like maybe there's some lateral queen move. But it looks like this is still the best move. So move 11 plays the main line, knight f3. What are we doing with this knight? I just remember that the game where there was something with knight h6. There's a variation with knight h6 that takes. Black has a good score out of 41 games here. It could still transpose to knight h6. So it's like, does white have anything against this monster knight on f5? Black's position seems so solid, and there's nowhere to go with your knight except for f1. I mean, I'm not surprised that like white doesn't have a plus score here. Black seems ridiculously solid. Are we really going to trade queens? No. Trading queens is just lame. White is only equal after that. That's like a Capablanca ending. It's equal. So he has to avoid exchange with queen d1. This is all theory, apparently, and then black played knight d7, which looks very natural. So now bishop g5. We're still in book. And the computer plays c5, which is kind of risky. question is like, well, my personal concern is maybe a4, a5 that could cramp our king. f6 is obviously. I lost a training game against move 11 doing something like that in a similar position, but f6 is totally an option. You know, you hide your king on f7. Neither side has a light square bishop here. Bishop e7 is kind of lame because you're trading your good bishop for the white bad bishop. So generally speaking, we don't normally want to do that. Apparently this preparatory move is played. Yeah, but Arsenal's found f6. I mean, you got to watch out for sacrifices, obviously. Maybe not. You know, maybe it works, maybe not. I mean, it's very dangerous. There's the E file. But then there's not a quick c4. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, f6 definitely seems playable. I guess white wouldn't take then. Probably if you play f6, white would drop back to bishop f4. And keep their options open. And you don't really like... I don't think we want to do this. So like f6, bishop f4, probably king f7. Black has to be careful that this isn't a problem, and his king isn't a problem. Why is black's bishop good? What do you mean? He's got like the Caro-Kann structure. I mean, the majority of his pawns is the Caro-Kann. It's like a French, man. The white square pawn, they're white square pawn chain openings. So, you know, that's a good bishop, and the white bishop is the bad bishop. Just, you know, theoretical thing. In most cases, now you've put a couple pawns on dark squares, so you're changing the dynamic a little bit there. So black played c5. Wow, we're still in the game. Sturt Raven and Avaturs and Nordiebeck. I call him Nerdiebeck. c5, c3. And now queen b6 novelty. How is Sturt Raven? How do you get to 2500 as an IM? What tournaments are you playing in, man? Jesus Christ. He must be really selective. He ain't playing no Indian 2000s, that's for sure. Queen b6, queen e2, c4, knight c1. Where is that guy? So you're going here. Huh. Now black can castle queenside if he can, you know, block the bishop. So he plays f6. And now we don't necessarily put the king on f7. You could castle queenside, but it's b3, and I think I still might rather have my king on f7. I like move 11's move, bishop f4. The computer's move is okay. He definitely doesn't want to release the tension there. You know, the interesting thing is, like, if you play this, you commit. You know, and if you don't play king f7, you still have the flexibility to castle either side. But I think at this point, move 11 should probably, like, maybe start playing on the queen side, no? Maybe it's nothing, like, what's the deal? Like, black just plays rook c8 or something? Still, I'm not sure. b3 is definitely a major option here. Plays g3. And then this is surprising. Why does black want to release the tension there? And I would definitely consider taking with the bishop. I'm sure he did. Well, let's see what the engine thinks. It's very close. Amazingly, after bishop takes e5, it wants to castle kingside. That's why he didn't play king f7. Yeah, it's a tough call for white, like which way to take back. I mean, you have to even consider this, but it's probably taking away your play here. He's got to get the knight off of freaking c1, man. That's good. Get me my knight off of c1. And I'm trading me some queens. Stopping g5. By the way, this engine isn't like playing like perfectly. I guess it's kind of handicap levels. It makes some mistakes. The game looks very close. Probably to a draw. I don't like the c3 pawn though. It was weird what move 11 did. He did like b3 and then had to do b4. It would be better if we hadn't done that. Now we have a serious like liability. But there's an interesting line here. Do we have rook h1? Master? Oh, there's a tactic. You guys see it? But I don't know if it works. Knight e4, knight e2, knight takes f2. Oh no, there's rook f1. It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. It doesn't even come close to working. Alright. So this is my question now. Okay, knight e2. Is black losing material here? You took on h4, jeopardizing your own pawn structure. But I'm not sure what black has here. Other than knight e4, I mean, he's really going to lose a pawn now. What's up, Thomas Transtein? Welcome. This doesn't seem to do anything. Oh no, it's this. Move 11 has knight g5 check. Phew, that's lucky. Because if you play this, you get destroyed by rook takes h3. No, that doesn't work either. No, nothing works. It's the wrong square. Huh. So maybe move 11 just missed it. A golden opportunity here. I'm missing something. What? This works? What? What? Holy bleeping bleep. Oh my god. No way. Dude, I would totally have fallen for this. Holy shit. Hey, we're up a pawn in a king and pawn game. What could possibly go wrong? No, it's this. Goodbye. Of course. If I was in better condition. Oh man. That's just brutal. Obviously. The power of that. Wow, the power of that pawn chain, dude. I'm just overconfident. Now black's slightly better. A4 keeps his knight off of b5. White's got to be careful with the worst structure here. I'm instantly taking the draw, but the computer plays for more. knight f1, knight e3. It looks like this is some sort of plan. But if the black rook were to get into white's position and get behind, he would be better. Yeah, of course. Imagine that, repunge myself. The Rapport show continues. Live and die by the Rapport. B5. Well, the one thing that's sure, if Rapport is on your team, it's going to increase like your tendency to have decisive results, dude, by a lot. You know, I mean. But this is not about that. We're not talking about that here. This is my stream. Okay, b takes a6, check, knight a5, a5, and suddenly the game is very complex. White's still got the worst structure. Man. Move 11. Eking out the draw. 3 pawns? Oh, 3 pawns against the rook. It's a draw, right? I don't know about this. I don't like our rook like up close and personal. It should be like distance. Our rook is too jammed in the middle here. Man, black's winning now. Almost winning. You never should put your rook on e3 in this position, move 11. It's the best move according to the engine. Alright, well let's say you never should keep your rook on e3. The best move is rook a3. The point is you want your rook to be away, you know, where it's like able to attack from a distance. It's pretty fundamental what happened here. You got in trouble because your rook was like stuck in the middle in an immobile position. That sucks, dude. So it's really a draw up until this point, but not an easy draw. Well, I mean, what's going to happen is you're going to sack your knight for like 2 pawns and reach a drawn ending. That's what should happen. But, you know, not to say like either side couldn't screw up and blow it, you know. All your pieces are close enough and they're relatively well coordinated. But yeah, I don't like the rook on e3. Okay, it made sense to check him back, but now, you know, you need to get it. I guess you were probably afraid of something like this. But I still think like you're okay, you know. Here. I mean, is this really a win? I mean, I guess there's a way you could lose it, like check, king d2. It's plus 1.6 for black after d4. Yeah, I mean, it gets pretty scary. Computer versus computer will be a draw. Not easy. Alright, guys. Thanks for the game. Finally. We've been waiting all day for this. What did I do? I pressed G. Screw that. OG. Arsenal fan. The epic Arsenal fan game. The highlight of our evening. Thanks to all of you for supporting the stream. I'm a little bit out of it tonight. Sorry, I'm battling some kind of cold or virus. Ars is black. Oh, he played our system. This is like the official stream variation. A6. I told you before how Levy like criticized me when he came on my stream and I was talking about this. But Move 11 and I have looked at this, and I talked about it the other day. I also had this against Adisto. We went over my game a little bit. Or I talked about my game with him. Now, Arsenal... You're forcing the Chigorin. He's forcing the Chigorin. No, I like the e6. We've pretty much decided we like this. If you want to play something more crispy, you could play b5. I've played g6 as well. Looks like that doesn't score so well. But the only move that I've really been satisfied with is e6 so far. This seems like the best. The best by test. Anyway, you play the French, so... Or you've played the French. Yes, it's counterintuitive to block your bishop in. But you have this sweet play on the queen side with the French-style waffles. But anyways, alright, so knight c6. The problem with this is, can we get enough... You blocked your c-pawn. Can we get enough pressure on e5? Can we get enough pressure on e5 to make this work? Symmetrical Chigorin. I mean, obviously if he plays knight f3, bishop g4, you're good. But what if he does something else? That's my concern. Not like you're good, but you're fine, you're okay. After knight f3, bishop g4, you're okay. My concern would be another move here. But what? What if I copied you and did a3 or something? I guess it's kind of slow. Not that scary. Yeah, bishop d3 is possible. h3 is possible. f3 is possible. You know, it's not too late for you to convert to a... By the way, to convert to a Grunfeld. If he does something slow, I mean, you could definitely still play a kind of Grunfeld type of setup. It's definitely an option. Yeah, in fact, Koretz here played g6, but I mean, it seems to me awfully principled to play bishop g4. And now if you really want to roll the dice, you cannot take his knight on f3. I mean, even bishop f5 is plausible. I'm not a big fan of it, but, you know, if here, obviously you're mostly concerned about g4. But this is the solid thing to do. Okay, takes. You know, still possible to play g6, but, you know, it seems to me you've got Nimzo ideas here. But maybe better than that is the nullifying bishop d6, which is what you did. Yeah, he prevented the Nimzo idea, and you did the suck the life out of the position. Well, you're nullifying his bishop pair. You know, it's very fundamental. Well, it's just a little better now with the space. Taking on f4 looks the safest. You know, you just continue to play like a chicken with something like that. I mean, that's clearly fine. You know, the good thing is you can't take with the pawn. But e5 is like, wait a minute, bro. You gotta be careful here because your white squares... I'm like, beep, 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 beep. You know, the white squares are a little soft because you don't have a light square bishop, so you have to be careful. There's something, you know, could go wrong in this position. It's like a light square problem. But realistically, maybe it's not an issue. I guess it is or it isn't, you know. You're threatening to fork him. So he doesn't have a lot of choices, and I don't think he can, like, sacrifice a piece. No, I don't even know which way we take here, to be honest with you. Because both captures are interesting. I guess knight takes is safer. You ensure like exchange of knight for bishop. And bishop takes e5, like, yeah. He doesn't have to react. He might even let you take the knight on c3. This seems stronger. Maybe white shouldn't take. Unfortunately, like, queen g3 walks into knight h5. His king is in the center, but it's one move away from castling. Not that bad. No. I think here is worth considering. Yeah, you're right, though. He can't take with the pawn. He has to take with the queen, and then allow this. And it sort of sucks. Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing he can do. Looks like you've equalized. Just cleanly equalized. Now white actually has to be careful he's not worse. And you have to decide epically if you're going to take that crappy knight. I guess he could chicken out and play knight d1, huh? How would you feel about that? Really bad. No, that's ugly. I don't think I'm playing that. Maybe rook b1 is a better move than knight d1, but that's a spicy meatball you've got there. Wow. Yeah, that wasn't on my radar. Houston, we have a strange blip on the radar. I totally missed it. It came out of nowhere. Whoa. XL poker style. Yeah, you have a very important decision to make regarding where you're castling. Queen e6 pretty interesting. I looked at the mundane queen e7, but your move might be better. Objectively, I can tell you that there's no way white isn't worse here. This is straight up, two-factor authorization. I mean, we have structure and king safety, and I don't think bishop versus knight matters much here. But having said that, like, your advantage, isn't that big. You're definitely better. So it looks like you can actually force a draw. Well, he doesn't want to draw ever. Shit, so much for that theory. So you played queen a5, but maybe you had a better way to do it. Tiny little bit of slightly more accurate move. Because on the e4 you can like take it and check him on c4 and pick off his bishop and then lose your queen. No, take with the knight. Take with the knight, then rook d4. It's still not clear. Let's say e4 takes, check, king b2. Knight takes e4. Just humor me for a second here. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. Are you sure, Doctor? Well, I was sure, but your case is a little worse than I thought. Are you sure I'm going to be okay, Doctor? Yeah, we're just about okay. Yeah. Anyway, like, kind of too much detail here. Okay, check, king a2. He goes for it, and then you castled. But e5 is dangerous. Fill me in here. Why didn't you take on e4? You underestimated the danger of e5? Maybe it's not that dangerous. Okay. I wouldn't let him come close to me with that, dude. Let him do whatever. I'm getting out of here. This pawn doesn't matter for sure. but letting him play e5 is kind of dangerous. No, I don't think it's that scary. Why is it scary? What's he gonna do? Rook e1? I mean, you're castling on the next move. There's really nothing he can do. For one move at least. But I think allowing e5 gives him a chance. I would have been more scared of that, to be honest. Now he's playing for tricks. How's the rook ending? Knight d5, queen d5, queen d5, bishop h7, chop, chop, chop. He has a terrible structure, but you're down a pawn. King h8, definitely a move that should be considered. Well, this is what I wasn't sure about. Oh, that's check, master. I missed that it was check. Damn. Oh, shit. Maybe you just also didn't see that it was check. So he has to do it the other way, but the queens stay on the board. And I think if the queens stay on the board, you know, you're probably okay, barring some kind of weird mate or something. You're totally okay. Yeah, I didn't realize it was check either. But okay, this is interesting as well. You played rook d8, you know, and you're going for more than a draw. And I can't blame you, you know, maybe you're right. b5 is super dangerous. Because you have opening it up and b4 and undermining his center. Wow. Yeah, but now you have to decide. Now you have to decide, is b4 enough? What's our follow-up after b4? Do we have like rook b8 or something? Looks like white should probably have the ability to defend here. I like his move. This I like. What's your impression here? My impression here is that white should be hanging on. Feels like he should be able to defend this. That's a rough estimate. Let's see what the engine says. Almost, it's like totally equal according to the engine. Equal but not equal, you know, it's a very dynamic equal. Yeah, maybe you were... I think you're right in a practical sense, like against weaker players especially. Black has better practical chances, but you're playing a pretty strong player. The stronger players are going to defend better. You may have been a little optimistic in your evaluation. I mean, knight versus bishop, bad bishop, you know, knight versus bad bishop is practically better for black. We definitely can't trade queens. Like, do we have to trade queens, mama? How's your time? Queen knight combo. You got the blockade, and his extra pawn doesn't really matter, and you got the B file. I think you might have it. You know, you might have some really serious shit here. If White has to be really careful and try to like vacuum the board of pieces as quickly as possible. Yeah, but I don't think this looks that good for him. You know, you're gonna pile up. I think after this he's okay, objectively. Yeah, the problem is that Then your knight isn't stable. Man. Don't even tell me you're like worse now. This looks like an engine game I lost. Oof. Yeah, these three pawns and the knight are and the bishop are stronger than the knight. You're in big trouble now. Not trading queens was definitely a big mistake. I mean, trading queens. Damn it. We can't maintain our guy there. Can we try? Rook a5 here. Then king c1. And then something like... Man. I feel like if we lose the a pawn, we're probably lost. Shit. Yeah, this is tough, dude. This is a pretty good endgame for bishop versus knight. I don't like their position anymore. I don't think the f pawn is going to change much. And objectively, yeah, his trio is really strong. He's winning. It doesn't matter how many pawns you have. So I mean, it comes down to trading queens. You know, I really think like you're probably better if you don't trade queens. Interesting game though. Chapter 8. What is Chapter 8? How do we have 10 games? Who is Chapter 8? Is that Bisonov? Why do we have Chapter 8 and Chapter 10? You're welcome, Arsenal fan. Thank you as always. Bisonov is 9. Oh, who the hell are these games? Chapter 8, Chapter 9, Chapter 10. What am I forgetting here? Who's Chapter 8 game? A Stonewall Dutch? Did somebody else put these in, like Mr. Coffee or something? Oh, you got twice. Okay, that's what happened. No, maybe I put your game in twice. Oh, I just deleted it. I'm an idiot. Oh my god. And the last game was move 11. I have 2 doubles. A double-double. Guys, I gotta go. Last game. Bill's game. Yeah. Yeah, last game. I'm really feeling like under the weather. I have to recopy it now. For some reason, I put you both twice. Anyway, guys, thanks for the support. No, I thought it was... I mean, I like that line, Arsenal. So I think it's interesting. I'm struggling here. I'm a fever delirium tremors. Vodka helped, beer not so much. What's happening, dude? Alright. Alright, Bill. No mention of what color you're playing? Are you playing the Dutch? Alright. Good for you. Dutch is tough. Game 90 over the board. No, personally, if I'm not playing some kind of anti-Dutch, I think it's more accurate to play G3 on move 2. Because there's some options where your knight, you know, goes to H3 and stuff. But you're playing a main line here. I used to play this with white. I mean, I still would. I had this like in 2008 against Vara di Victor, and I beat him somehow. That's about the time when Magnus started playing the Stonewall all the time for black. No, I mean, black's supposed to play Queen E7, stopping Bishop A3, and then, you know, if you want to be like Korchnoi, you can do this, but it compromises your position, I think. So I really don't know, you know, like what the best is. I normally just play like Bishop B2, and then black plays B6. And I don't know who invented that, but Carlsen started using it like 15 years ago. It was never played like in Botvinnik's generation. Like no one ever thought, oh, hey, it's a good idea to play B6 in a fianchetto Dutch. But it turns out it's actually black's like best line to incorporate ideas of developing the bad bishop over here. It totally like, this is the single reason why the Stonewall Dutch like came back, because of Carlsen and people like Nicola Sedlak. Sedlak said Carlsen likes it because it doesn't trade pieces, you know. You keep a very complicated game, like an 80 move game against Magnus Carlsen in a closed position. Good luck with that. So in that sense, it's like good for playing for a win, but he just castled, allowing Bishop A3. You're supposed to play Bishop A3 and trade off his good bishop. After Bishop E2, you let him like transpose back to a main line, but he played this. Now this might, for all I know, like be a Botvinnik game from, you know, 50 years ago or 60 years ago. I don't really like remember offhand any particular games, but I knew that Botvinnik used this plan. But I prefer Bishop D7. I'm no Dutch expert. I don't know. I think the idea of getting this guy in the game appeals to me the most. That looks like it's kind of rare here. I don't know why. I mean, I guess technically here first, and now Bishop D7 is probably the best. Yeah, there you got Plugievsky, Ivkov 1991, like old school games. Ivkov 1986. So it's never too late to play Bishop A3. Tempo down, anybody? My COVID is mutating to a cough from a sniffle. E3, Queen H5, and then Bill's gonna try to what? Like, you're gonna try to trade queens to avert the danger. E3 is a favorite move of like Petrosian. You know, typically the knight goes to D2, but you have this idea. But I'm a little concerned, man. I mean, maybe black has G5. I mean, this may not be that crazy. Typically speaking, like, our knight ends up being a little bit problematic with like nowhere to go. In a lot of variations like this, obviously you could try to trade queens, maybe. No, it's probably okay for white, and black might not do that. So he plays knight e4, which is a pretty standard move, but I don't think like trading this is a problem. You played knight d2. Well, I mean, I think this is a more active move than knight d2. I don't mind trading queens. I mean, it knocks out his kingside attack. And if he gives up his archer bishop, I mean that... So what does he do after like 95? Maybe queen h6 or something to keep an eye on this. Probably. Now the engine is giving you an edge. Knight e2, if like g5, f3, knight f6. Black's position is it's kind of dubious, I guess. So what did you do wrong? Okay, this was a bit passive. He did play queen h6. So that's a major point. Like if you go here, he goes here. What did I say? We said knight e2. And then what did we say? g5. Oh, g5, yeah. So probably black shouldn't do g5. Let's say something else. Bishop d7. But you have room, like for maybe queen d3 and then f3. You have time. So knight e5 is probably better than knight d2. Knight d2 is passive. But after this, you change the structure. And black has the favorable kind of stonewall stuff over here. You know, you're on a time limit about getting an f3 before some bad shit happens. And I don't like c5. c5, it takes pressure off his center. I mean, this pawn chain is kind of key. What you want to do is play f3, and it's probably equal, but this is hanging. So you have to play, like, I guess, queen e2 with the idea of f3, and I think it's, you know, the position looks kind of about equal. Takes, I guess rook takes. If you get an e4, you might even be better at some point. Could white get compensation for piece? I've never personally seen that done. You know, in like this type of scenario, probably not quite. You want to chip away and then play e4 yourself, ultimately. You know, that would be what we really want to do, is refute the Dutch. Like if you play e4 in the white side of the Dutch, you've essentially refuted his opening. The entire point of the Dutch is to control e4, so if white gets in e4, he's better. If you study Botvinnik's games, I mean, he played like both sides. So you see this kind of thing. Black's pieces are bottled up on the queen side. If you open up fast enough, you know, he's just worse. But c5 is a mistake positionally. And now you have no pressure on his center, so he can play e5 at some point. He does it right away. Maybe it's necessary, because if he doesn't, maybe you play knight e2. It makes sense. But you have a tactic, right? With takes, bishop takes, knight takes. It looks like it works, but I'm not sure about this. Is this a problem? Do we have a problem here, officer? Okay, we can take on c8. And then we sack the exchange. Winning for white. Though he has a move, apparently. He's better off playing this. Wow. King h8, queen b2, and then your knight gets trapped. Oh my god. Wow, even bishop h3 is good, apparently. That's really kind of surprising. Wow. That knight ends up like trapped on e7. My god. I never thought that would happen. I would have played knight takes d5 100% of the time. Wow. So it just doesn't work. You could have broke here and only been slightly worse. But I would say you played a little passively overall. You don't have compensation for his, like, you know, kingside build-up in the center. I'm not sure if he should exchange right away. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, now you're, like, trying to hold. Now black is slightly better, or much better. You could get checkmated if he, like, fixes this here and then just checkmates you down the H-file. Never got an F3. This is a horrifying move by black, though. Why would he trade his bishop off? I mean, there's no reason to do that. I mean, still, the entire point is to checkmate you. You know, double up, triple up, and then kill you on the H-file. Maybe he's still winning. But I don't see the reason to take your knight. This is the point. And I think you're probably, like, lost here. Yeah. This is unavoidable, you know, problem. I don't think you can defend, although G5 is kind of weird. Wouldn't he be better off, like, doing this? For example? And then G5? Yeah, but it's a little slow, the way he's trying to do it. How are you going to stop this? Ah! Zuckertort. Running away. He forgot about that. Should he go in? You're in time. You're in time to get your king to, like, C3. So he's trying to cut you off in advance. Now his king is in trouble. Yeah, so this was a sloppy game by both sides. You were, like, lost, and then he was lost. Both sides were a little too hesitant. No, it's black's king that's dead. Oof. Alright, that's it. That's it. Black missed his chances. And White shouldn't have given him chances, but that's what happened. Alright, the stone wall. Don't underestimate the stone wall. I think when you play well against it, there's good chances, but you gotta know what you're doing. Thanks to Blavix, Move 11, everyone else, Arsenal fan, for supporting our stream. Mr. Coffee, I know you're busy. Thanks, guys, for submitting games. If I'm still alive tomorrow morning, I'll be back to sacrifice some of our viewers. Thanks to the raid from GM Dora Bailey, and we'll see you hopefully tomorrow. Bye-bye.